Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 6 of the F224 Kimi Antonelli career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Australian Grand Prix feature race. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from the sprint, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. You can see currently we have a 5-point lead over both Paul Aron and Gabriel Bortoleto as we head into the main event. However, they are both starting much higher up the grid than us today, so it is going to be very, very difficult to try and fight our way through. Of course, if you're new as well, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs here at the moment. But yeah, let's head out then to Albert Park once more, and maybe, just maybe, we can get more points on the board.
It's Formula 2 in Australia in the great state of Victoria, and we're getting used to the relatively new look of this iconic circuit, the newest addition to the official FIA Formula 2 calendar. It's a new addition to the Formula 2 calendar. Albert Park has been an iconic F1 circuit for years. Recently remodeled to encourage tighter racing on track, it is 3.28 miles, 14 turns instead of the original 16. Here is the grid for today's race, which will be starting shortly. A fantastic effort from Ollie Bearman yesterday puts him on pole position, with Paul Aron alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Pepe Marti, Hadjar, Richard Verschoor, Bortoleto, Crawford, Stanek, Dennis Hauger, Cordial, Miney, Ritomo Miata,
Andrea Kimi Antonelli,
Maloney, Fittipaldi, Correa, Victor Martins,
Colapinto, Barnard, O'Sullivan, Rafael Villagomez.
Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Australian Grand Prix feature race. We had a really good run yesterday, and I'm hoping we can have another good one today. The team obviously opting for the super soft tyres early on, and then we'll bolt on a set of mediums to the checkered flag there. I don't really want to risk it. I don't want to change up too much either early on in this GP. But of course, if anyone does take the gamble and they can extend that first stint, then they can have a huge advantage by the end of the afternoon. Familiar territory, P14 on the grid. It is 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go there. And once again, trying to avoid the bog down in towards turn 1. Looks like Dennis Hauger instantly will lose a place to Amory Cordial in towards that first corner. We're going to try and have a look up the inside of Ritomo Miata there and actually get a really good run off of turn 1 as well there. Round the outside of Kushmini will go. So yeah, we battled with him at the start of yesterday's race. Looks like we're going to do the same again here. One driver we definitely didn't battle with was Dennis Hauger, who ended up, in a feisty battle with Joshua Dirksen throughout that sprint there. Looks like Cordial's had a really good start. So what on earth's going on here? Down the inside of Dennis Hauger, and we've gained 3 places then on the opening lap there, as we're still side by side with the Norwegian as we try and make our way out onto the back straight there. But yeah, a lot of Constantine running up on lap 1. For our teammate Ollie Bearman, he'll be looking to try and bolt away at the front of the order, but that's not exactly what he's done there, as he's actually dropped all the way down into P3, so really not the ideal start for our teammate. But yeah, 17 laps ahead of us, though, around this circuit. It feels like a real marathon kind of race here today. Obviously, we came off Jeddah, which are generally some of the shortest races in terms of time on the calendar as well. But yeah, more laps here to navigate as well. And obviously that pit stop at some point during this race. Who is it, though, that leads the way at the end of lap 1? I think it's Isaac Hadjar. I could be wrong. We'll just wait and see and double check. I think it's Hadjar ahead of Paul Aron at the front. And that is... it's Marti at the front of the order. So Pepe Marti, once again, leading the way. While everybody then setting faster lap times than we saw in the GP yesterday. Of course, these super soft tyres will work very well for a few laps early on. Ollie Bearman, fastest lap of the day. And luckily, yeah, we have been able to stay inside the DRS range of Joshua Dirksen. I mentioned, obviously, it out in Bahrain. I didn't speak about it much in Jeddah, but I am upping the AI difficulty, and now we are learning more and more about these cars. So I believe we're back up to 105, ready for this race. Again, obviously, Bahrain definitely was a bit of a tricky, you know, it's a trial by fire.
Wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
But yeah, we are slowly bringing it up towards that 110 mark, and say after the sprint race yesterday, I bumped it up a little bit more. So yeah, 105 AI for this race. We're getting it to an almost the right level. Joshua Dirkson's going to need a bit more luck if he wants to fight for the win like he did in yesterday's sprint race. But I tell you what, yeah, he has been a bit of a surprise so far this year. Paul Aaron now to the front of the order, as we will immediately snatch that fastest lap away from him. Are we going to get a lap under 90 seconds? I reckon that will absolutely happen over the course of this feature race as well there, but I can't see anyone around me on the on the medium compounded tyre even. So I don't think, obviously we saw one of, I think it was Roman Stanek, wasn't it, last time out, attempt that strategy. Didn't really end up making much difference for him. But I am just waiting for the weekend where the safety car comes out at the perfect time and you get one driver from way down the order who gets through, makes the difference, and will claim victory. Well, even with the AI continuing to be buffed, they do still seem to struggle through those sections of corners there as down the inside of Joshua Dirksen. I think everybody saw how many moves we were making there yesterday, and it's kind of accepted the fact that we're likely going to be able to make more, and there's not going to be much the AI can do about it. So a little bit of understeer through the very next corner. They're desperately trying to keep that back end from snapping out. It is a fine line in these cars. They're either fine or they're gone. You don't really get an in-between with them at the moment, as Behrman is definitely cycling his way back through. We are finally up into the top 10. But obviously, yes, pit lane or pit stop strategy could be very critical here. Do we go for the overcut? Do we go for an undercut? Only time will tell. Roman Stanek, Amory, Cordeal making their way through. You can just see again, though, the Trident car left a little bit vulnerable. Someone else is locked up in front, and that actually means, weirdly, if a car locks up, the AI seem to be braver in towards that corner. Not sure what we make of that one. But yeah, that time around we could not make the move happen on Stanek. It seems to be another corner where we are weirdly strong, as right the way around the outside of the Trident. I mean, if there's grip there, we're going to try and go for it, which there is. And through the final corner, we will make the place then up into P9 of this race. By doing so, we might just have lost the DRS to Amory Cordeal for good. But happy with that cheeky little maneuver. While losing that DRS might be an absolute killer here throughout the rest of the first stint. You just see trying to get closer and closer there. We get the gap back down to 1.1, but we can't quite get it back in that range. And down the straights, you just lose so much as here comes Stanek again then. Roman Stanek trying to have a look back down the inside there. Doesn't really commit to the move. Or hold it round his outside through that first corner. But we are throwing away more and more time for each other. But we know tyre warm-up is really, really difficult in these Formula 2 cars. So I'm tempted to try and extend the stint a little bit longer. Maybe go to the end of sort of lap 10. If the tyres will last that far. And then obviously try and make the switch. And hopefully we'll be back in the range of the cars in front when they've made the move over to the mediums. Obviously, they won't be very quick on the opening lap. But lap 2, yeah, they'll pretty much be up to pace. So we'll have to monitor, see what our lap times are like. We know we were running low 31s in the sprint race yesterday. So that's what we need to still be doing on these super soft tyres towards the end of the stint. Because here comes Stanek. Not quite got the legs that time. But I think we're going to start seeing AI into the pit lane then at the end of this lap. Will Ollie Behrman be one of them, though? Looks like everybody's actually gone a bit further in this race than I was really expecting them to. And well, everybody, yeah, seems very bunched up still with each other. As there we go, Crawford, Cordeal. I believe that's Bortoletto as well, just in front of them, all into the pit lane. So we are going to gain a few spots then. Critically for us, though, Ollie Behrman has opted to stay out here. So Prema, we've really put all our eggs in the extend the first stint basket. And the lap times are definitely now starting to drop off. Well, Zane Maloney then, he's going to lead the rest of the cars into the pit lane, I would assume, at the end of this lap. Hopefully Behrman, please say Behrman's in. Yes, he is. So no, it is still Behrman leading the way then.
Ollie in the pits now.
I've got no idea who Mark's on about then. Why Zane Maloney? He's way down the order, if I'm not mistaken. But we are going to be the only car then to have to drag these tyres one extra lap. They don't feel horrendous or anything like that yet. But it is going to give us fresher tyres towards the end. As are we going to see some big switches there? I think Behrman No, he hasn't quite been screwed over. So luckily our teammate will hopefully still be out in the net lead of the race. But has the undercut actually worked out really nicely? Pepe Marti is up now into P2. Looks like Marti, yeah, has got a good 1.5 second jump on Ollie Behrman, so we might be in trouble still. Well, the gap to Pepe Marti then sitting at about 20 seconds as we make our way down in towards those final couple of turns. And the AI definitely haven't struggled as much as I thought they would there. You can just now see front end starting to wash out a little bit more, so we are definitely starting to struggle towards the end of this stint there. As Rasumo Miata out of the race. How useful would that have been if we got a safety car right then? That would have been proper F2 just carnage, but trying to make sure. Oh, we only just got the car slowed down there as everybody will rush out into the pit lane. Hopefully we get a nice, clean, tidy stop. 4.1's not bad.
That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
And obviously we don't have to deal with anybody else trying to get down the pit lane either here, so hopefully we've gained a bit of an advantage with that. But you can see everybody behind Pepe Marti, who's got Clear running in front of him, all bunched up. That has worked for us though by the looks of it, as we try and make our way back out of the pit lane. Whoa! Amory Cordial there doesn't spot me on the inside through the first corner. Somehow he won't pick up any front wing damage, and we're up to P7 then. So we've jumped a couple of cars in the process, but again now, we've got to deal with cold tyres there. As what is the AI doing? Have I come out of the pit lane invisible for them or something? Because Richard Verschoor tries driving through me as well through the next couple of corners. That actually might work out in our favour though. As Verschoor there limits his opportunities to try and get around me. And although the advantage might not be much, we will have slightly fresher tyres to the end of this race there. Still, as you can see, trying to build up some temperature again. But Cordial, he will be vulnerable as we make our way down the back straight there, because of course he does not have the DRS. You can see that we're vulnerable to Richard Verschoor as well. How little wing is that Trident car running? Can we try and get the run on Cordial on the exit? Really nice tidy line off of the turn there. To the outside we'll go in towards that final sector once again with the high-tech. Could really help his teammate out here, but he is Amory Cordial, so of course he doesn't really. Cordial though, again, he won't quite hold on round the outside in towards that final sector. He will, however, get the DRS though, and again can't commit to the move. We'll defend from him once more then through that first corner, as again, is he going to try and look for it in towards the next couple of corners, but definitely running more downforce than the AI here. I was expecting them to run a bit higher wing, but trying to get back up towards those top 5 cars is going to be very, very difficult. And Bortoletto, he's probably still going to take points out of me in the title. 3 laps to go then of this sprint, of this feature race, sorry. We're getting the gap to Cordial up, but I don't think we'll break away. Less than 3 seconds up to those cars in front there, as you can see how much we're sending it through turn 1. Not convinced we're going to get there by the end of this race. The DRS is just so powerful when you're in a train of cars like that group are in front. But it is, yeah, I still think this was probably the worthwhile strategy to go with, because I hate to imagine how much time we would have lost being stuck in the pit lane as every other car tried to peel in, as we got more yellow flags out. Too late now for a safety car in this race. Not too sure who it is though. We've had a big incident there. Franco Colapinto at the Grand Prix. What on earth has happened? Riding on board then with Franco Colapinto as he makes his way in through this middle sector. Engine's just gone. Engine has gone up in a big way there for what is now obviously Williams' Formula 1 star in real life 2024. But Franco Colapinto out of the GP late on. I thought there was admittedly a bit more chaos to that one. Well, it looks like that gap at the front though has been completely cut down to Pepe Marti, so I think the DRS actually is quicker if you just keep DRSing each other around here rather than having clear air at the front of the order like Marti's enjoyed over the last few laps. I thought we were about to see our first repeat winner of the year, and I'll be honest, yeah, I certainly wouldn't expect it to be him, but looks like Ollie Behrman now has got back up to the front of the order. He could be our 6th different winner of the year, so far it looks like it could be almost as wild as real life Formula 2, as you can see how much time now we're taking out of them as we continue to push on towards the end of the race. Of course, our advantage gets more and more the later we go. So we've got yellows out again That's the other MP Motorsport. So Dennis Hauger now running into problems late on in the day. We obviously just saw the incident involving Franco Colapinto, and now his teammate is completely in the wars here. I think there's another car involved in that. Must be the Trident of Stanek, I want to say. No, it's not. It's one of the AIX cars. But, yeah, heartbreak for Taylor Barnard as well there. They've both been able to keep going, though, so... yeah, it looks like that one isn't going to... well, it's going to completely ruin any chance of scoring for either of them. But isn't going to leave them with a retirement from this race as well. But as we navigate our way, though, through this final lap, is Ollie Behrman going to be able to hang on here? Or are we going to see Pepe Marti make the move and claim his second victory of the year after the sprint win last weekend out in Jeddah? We are carving so much time out of that group that there just is not enough time to go for it towards the end of this race. Will Behrman be able to hang on? Here comes Pepe Marti there. Around the outside he'll go in towards that chicane once again there. And I think Behrman, he might have lost 2 places in all that as well. There is another car trying to make his way through. I believe that's Paul Aaron, isn't it, in the high-tech. So Paul Aaron as well there, right towards the end of this one, might be able to capitalise. And look at this now. You can see Bortoletto trying to make the move on our teammate as well there in towards the final couple of corners. Behrman looks like he will just about hang on to P3, but Pepe Marti through the final couple of corners. It's been 2 races of trying to use the slipstream and the DRS to his advantage, but the Spaniard has done it beautifully. He will become our first repeat winner of the year. Pepe Marti back on top, and we come through for 6th.
A super drive being rewarded with victory. Pepe Marti takes the checkered flag.
When life feeds you lemons, drive like that. Awesome stuff to come back from what was a really difficult start to the race.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Campos have come a really long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot.
Well, there we go then. Pepe Marti, your biggest point scorer from the weekend there. And Paul Aaron, again, will just extend his title lead over ourselves. Taking a look at your final race results there. Behrman does hang on for P3 ahead of Gabriel Bortoletto there, with Hadjar ahead of myself. Vashaw, Cordeal Crawford, and Kushmaini will round out the top 10. Zane Maloney, agonisingly close to his first point score of the year. But what's that going to do for the Drivers' Championship? Well, yeah, Paul Aaron, the gap is cut down to just 4 points at the top of the table there. 6 points in it between your top 3 in the table, but Pepe Marti has certainly stated his intent as well inside the top runners in the championship. Behrman still in a Campos sandwich ahead of Hauger, Vashaw, and Colapinto there. Further down the order, have we got any more new point scorers? Still not yet. Zane Maloney, though, up into 18th place there, capitalising on the rules of count back in this series. And still, yeah, Barnard, Correa, and Villagomez at the rear of the field. 7 points now, the gap in the Constructors, though, opens up to after another decent race weekend by both of the Prema cars there. But yeah, Campos, Invicta, MP Motorsport, and High-Tech, you can't really count any of them out early on this season as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back next weekend when Formula 2 returns ready in Imola.